you kind of have to ask the question, so what's the solution, and how does the market solve this issue? And the market solves it through effectively firmer spreads.
Right.
So Arabica very rarely is inverted, partly because of the position limit, the 500 lot limit that's in place, and partly because it's been generally a well-supplied market for quite some time. I think in 2010 was the last time the market structure was as inverted as it is today.
Right.
And then again, that was due to the mild situation and a scare that it's going to be a drought in Brazil. Today, the story is a little bit different. We still have a very, very tight milds balance sheet or washed balance sheet. We've got a significant deficit, and we've had a Brazil crop that's been affected by a frost and a drought. So in 2020, we were quite lucky that Brazil had a record-breaking crop, and we saw a lot of the semi-washed Brazil coffees that weakened to tender parity levels because, again, so that's all in the differential. There was such a great crop, lots of supply, and differentials weakened to whatever the level was to get them to tender parity at the time. I think it was something like 18 under or maybe even lower.
Right.
And we saw a flood of those coffees, 1.5 million, that helped to replenish those certified stocks back up to 2 million bags at the start of the year. And now, more recently, because we were in this deficit, we see this tightness developing, and there is a demand pull nearby, very much nearby, for those coffees that are used partly as, let's say, natural replacements, some of those Brazilian semi-washed coffees. And you have some Honduran coffees there that are used partly as, let's say, washed stretches, or you wouldn't really replace it one for one, but some of that is incorporated. Also, what's interesting is we've got prices sort of fluctuating around 20-year highs. So anywhere you can find value coffee, you're going to reach for it. You're going to want to use that coffee. And so these certified stocks, in terms of what's available at destination, is a good value coffee. And that encourages a lot of demand to come through. So the situation we're in today is the world is looking or sourcing coffee. The milds or the washed balance is still in a deficit. We're not really seeing huge crops on the horizon either. And much of those coffees, let's say from Honduras or Central America in general, as well as East Africa, are more or less sold to the industry. So we're not seeing a period of destination stocks rebuilding. So I think we will probably likely to see the drawdown in stocks continuing. I don't know to where, whether it'll be 700,000 bags or we say around 800,000 bags. But until we're not seeing those destination stocks rebuild, and we're not seeing a flood of surplus coffees that are at the destination that a roaster or the industry can reach and get for their nearby demand. We're also in a period where demand is very uncertain because of inflation, and it's really difficult to project if we're still going to see demand growing as strong as it has done in previous recessions as well. So it makes it harder to plan how much coffee needs to be available for the industry to roast away at any given time. So you tend to see a bit more spot demand come up, bits and pieces, and that's really where the certified stocks are used. So until you start to see, let's say, the new crop from Brazil flowing, which we believe isn't as great this year because of the frost and the drought, you're not really going to see any of that destination stock starting to rebuild either, or the demand to move away from certified coffees because they're able to get fresh Brazil coffees at destination. It's not helped by all the container logistic problems that we've had over the last 2 years, although that is improving much more quickly than maybe some other analysts had estimated. But it's all to do with supply and demand once again. So we don't see a huge crop that's available to replenish those certified stocks at this moment in time until the market does its job or the structure does its job to... So the reason why you have an inversion is to try and get any spot coffees that are available out there or sell whatever is there in stock because it doesn't pay you to hold or carry that coffee. So we're not really seeing that happening today, and we're waiting for something to change, really, and that's really probably going to be through the structure firming a bit more.